Hello, beautiful souls. Welcome to the channel. If you're new here, my name is Infinity, and this is Magnetize Yourself, where we talk about life, love, spirituality, and of course, the law of attraction. And we've actually been talking a lot more about those other subjects recently because I have been uploading many different forms of readings and podcast episodes here on the channel. So I really hope that you guys have been enjoying the new content, and I've really loved sharing more thoughts and just exploring different positive kinds of manifestation techniques and concepts here on the channel. So if you do have any ideas or recommendations for videos that you'd like to see or things you'd like to see more of on the channel, I know a lot of you did really like the pick a card style video that I did, even though it was relatively shorter messages. I'd love to do something like that, but maybe even a bit more in depth at some point in the future. So again, let me know in the comments what you'd like to see here, because as I always say, this channel really is a co-creation of all of us here who are connected together in this space, this virtual community here on YouTube. So I'm starting by shuffling the energy oracle cards. As always, if you do want a more specific message from the reading, I do recommend subscribing to the channel, as this does tend to allow me to pick up more easily on your energy and channel a bit more specifically for you and your situation. It's funny, right before we started doing this reading, I really felt that it was going to be a kind of divine feminine and divine masculine oriented reading. I just had kind of an inkling about that. And then right away, we get the healer of the ages upright, which tends to represent divine masculine energy in the process of healing or shifting in a positive way. So I want to preface by saying, if you're new to the channel, whenever I use these labels, divine feminine or divine masculine, I intend these to connect with energy dynamics, not necessarily with a particular gender. So we all have a balance internally of both divine feminine and divine masculine energy. So you can take these messages to connect with your internal masculine, your internal feminine, or some external person or situation. And of course, at the end of the day, it's always your intuition that is really the compass of your life experience. So I always recommend listening to your intuition above all else and only taking the messages that truly feel aligned with that intuitive space within yourself. So I am picking up that we're going to be talking about general trends happening with divine feminine and divine masculine energies collectively on the planet, but that throughout this channeling of these general trends, we may be picking up more specific threads of energy that may relate more directly to individuals that you're interacting with, either platonically or romantically in your life. So with the Healer of the Ages, the Root Chakra card, and the Happy Family card, I'm strongly picking up that divine masculine energy right now at a planetary level is in the process of healing itself. I'm hearing self-evaluating, turning inward to heal some part of itself that it's been unconscious of. And in doing so, to actually create some kind of new, strong foundation for either a harmonious life generally, or specifically for a harmonious love connection. I'm hearing I have to go within myself and heal this first so that I can create the foundation for the life I desire or the love I desire. Now, I am getting right away that even if you are a divine feminine listening, you may actually be connecting this with your internal masculine. So you may actually be feeling this urge to go within. We've talked a lot recently about techniques like journaling, ways to really connect with that innermost part of yourself. And that may be coming up here because you're feeling your internal masculine wanting to turn inward and self-reflect in order to heal something internally. I'm hearing that's been subconsciously holding you back from manifesting the life or the love that you desire. Now, I heard the word sabotage, so I'm seeing a pigeon in my mind's eye as well. Maybe that's some kind of symbol for someone. But with that word sabotage coming up here, I'm picking up on a masculine specifically who has this tendency of sabotaging harmonious connection. I'm hearing sabotaging exactly what he wants because there's something unhealed within himself. So I am going to look up this pigeon symbolism. You guys know I like to look up these symbols as they come up in the readings. So yeah, this can represent love, loyalty, peace, and harmony. It's very interesting because I didn't realize that pigeons were actually similar to doves. And in the Bible story of Noah's Ark, a dove returns with an olive branch, signaling the end of the flood. So it represents a new beginning. So I'm hearing someone comes forward with an olive branch. Someone extends an olive branch. Now, it follows, given this metaphor, that there's been some kind of storm with this person in the past. So this very likely could be someone from your past that you did have some kind of flood or some kind of storm with, in a sense. When you think about a flood, you think of something that's almost too much, too overwhelming. And I feel this person from your past could have been someone that things felt too overwhelming for them. It was so much emotion. It was literally flooding them. But now they're trying to extend or wanting to extend some kind of olive branch because they've been going within themselves to find this foundation within and realizing that they've been sabotaging exactly what they want here, that peace, that harmony, that ideal connection or relationship with you, if this is a romantic situation. Although again, this doesn't have to be romantic. Take it however it resonates for you. I did get the number 717, and it seems that the number 717 can relate to new beginnings in love, but again, it emphasizes self-discovery, introspection, and spiritual awakening. Focus on your inner growth to strengthen your relationships. And I'm seeing clouds parting. That's exactly what's happening with this particular divine masculine energy. There is this sense of them in the past having been flooded with emotions. I'm hearing information overload, but it's almost like spiritual information overload subconsciously, or emotional energetic overload of some kind, where this masculine was, through meeting you or connecting with you, suddenly taking in so much spiritual or energetic or emotional information, feeling so much emotionally that it actually overloaded their system, and they may have had to step back for a time, or they may have even actively done things to sabotage the connection. But now I see that after this period of introspection, they're wanting to come forward and communicate something around all of this as well, because we have the throat chakra card coming up here. It's interesting because the emotion that we get most strongly on this divine masculine is doubt. And this card says, I release the need to know all the answers. And then we immediately get the trust card. I accept that my inner voice will always guide me correctly. So I almost feel like I'm picking up on a masculine that was trying to understand your connection or their love for you from an entirely logical perspective, or through some kind of externalization, when in reality, they were meant to be going within themselves for the answers here to really understand their connection with you. And that's how this doubt is shifting into trust here. I'm hearing trust is replacing doubt through this journey of introspection. And as I keep channeling all of this information, I can't get away from this feeling that for many of you who are divine feminines, this somehow relates to some part of your inner journey where you've been replacing doubt with trust. You've released the need to know all of the answers, and you recognize that you have this intuitive sense that's guiding you correctly in the next step forward, even if you can't see the entire road or the entire journey. I'm getting the name Deborah for someone. So I am going to be reshuffling the cards. I'm hearing trusting what you're feeling, even if it has no logical basis. So maybe that's part of what this masculine is learning how to trust the feelings, the love that they have for you, even if they can't really make logical sense of it. If you're a divine feminine listening, maybe this is you internally learning how to trust what you're feeling about certain people, decisions, your life generally. Knowing that these emotions are you reading energy. It's your intuition in action, speaking to you through your emotional experience. For some reason, I'm seeing like a temple or something like that. I'm going to be looking up some of the symbolism here that I'm picking up on in my mind's eye because I'm not super familiar with it. Yeah, I feel as though it's almost like the Ark of the Covenant from the Bible. A lot of biblical imagery is coming through this particular reading. So maybe someone here has some sort of a Christian background or something along those lines. But I feel as though because this speaks to some kind of really profound covenant. In the Bible, it was a covenant between God and his people. But I feel like in this context, it's some kind of a deep, holy soul agreement. This really seems to represent a covenant that's very sacred that you and this masculine may have with each other, some kind of soul covenant, a soul contract, which is why the both of you have been feeling really stuck on this with the crown chakra and all tied up in the upright position. I'm getting this sense of two people being mutually stuck on each other, in a sense, not being able to let each other go, but not really fully knowing why from a conscious level. And the real reason why neither of you seem to be able to let the other go, even though I'm hearing one person does a better job of hiding how stuck they are. So maybe the masculine here wasn't really revealing how stuck they were on you if you're the divine feminine listening, or vice versa. But even for the person who might not necessarily show on the surface how stuck on you they're feeling, that is the case. It's very mutual here. But the reason is because it's funny, in the last reading I did, it was one of my mini readings that I posted 8 hours ago. I talked about how if you're stuck on a person, in a relationship, in a situation, what you have to understand is there's still some kind of spiritual growth taking place through that situation that is actually your optimal position for growth. So the mind is telling you we're stuck in this, we need to get out of this, but every time we try to get out of this, we get back into this, and it kind of tends to expend all of this energy running in those circles. I'm hearing, imagine what you could do with all of that extra energy if you just replaced doubt with trust, if you just allowed yourself to fully lean into where you are and to accept, I am where I am, I feel what I feel, I'm connecting with who I'm connecting with, this is what feels right for me now. It doesn't necessarily have a logical basis, but I'm not going to expend the energy running mental circles around this. I'm going to embrace this phase of my journey for all that it is, knowing that this must be my optimal vantage point for evolution, or I wouldn't still be feeling stuck here. And I'm hearing that this attitude of surrender, again, it's going to allow you to no longer expend that energy in the mental realm trying to do the impossible, which is to logically understand something that is so profoundly spiritual in nature and meant to be experienced. And this once expended energy can now actually be reserved and channeled into creative endeavors, into yourself. You can put it back into your own self-nurturing, your self-care, your self-love, the things that you love, the people that you love, that you have really balanced, reciprocated connections with. So I just feel someone really being guided to call back their energy from that part of the mind that is running in circles, trying to get a logical explanation for what just is. And in recalling all of that energy, you now have this extra energy to be able to invest back into yourself, back into things and people and activities that really fuel you, that light you up. And I feel this is part of your healing process as well. I'm hearing acceptance opens all doors. Acceptance and embracing what is for the moment of your journey that it is, the important, essential, unique moment of your journey that it is. This is what allows you to open more doors in your healing. But I'm very curious, doors to what? What are these doors? I'm hearing something about the doors of perception, which I'm pretty sure is the title of a book, but I'm going to be looking this up here. I'm going to take a sip of water as well. Maybe that's a sign for someone to stay hydrated, to drink more water. Maybe you've noticed with some of the kinds of spiritual or emotional shifts, I'm hearing the purging or the cleansing you've been going through emotionally may actually be really causing you to need to drink more water, to stay more hydrated. So that feels like just a little message for someone. I saw orange juice in my mind. Maybe that's also something someone has been craving, or that has some kind of nutrient that's helpful for you right now. But the phrase doors of perception refers to the idea of altering or expanding one's perception to see a deeper, truer reality beyond ordinary human perception or experience. And a quote from The Marriage of Heaven and Hell by the English poet William Blake is, "If the doors of perception were cleansed, everything would appear to man as it is, infinite. For man has closed himself up till he sees all things through narrow chinks of his cavern." Wow, that feels really, really powerful for someone here. So you are, in a sense, cleansing or opening the doors here by releasing mental constructs that have obscured your ability to see. I'm hearing to see the life force beneath all things, the connectedness of all things. And this, of course, brings about this sense of unity, boundless connection with the universe. I'm reading off of some explanations of the doors of perception. A quest for transcending ordinary awareness to gain access to a more profound understanding of life and the universe. So I feel that something you are engaged in right now is cleansing or clearing these doors of perception here. It's expanding your consciousness. This feels related to this spiritual activation taking place. I'm hearing many different perspectives, so I don't know who I'm speaking to, but for someone here, you've actually, in this singular incarnation, been placed in many different challenging situations that you may have wondered, why am I going through something like this? And I know I'm speaking to probably just a couple people here, but if this is for you, the reason that you were placed in these different scenarios and challenging situations is actually to give you many different perspectives. In a sense, this is a form of cleansing these doors of perception, helping you to break down this artificial sense of disconnectedness from other people and things, because you've lived these different kinds of experiences that give you this natural sense of empathy and interconnectedness with other people, because in a sense you can understand what they're going through because you've had some challenge or experience that relates directly to that. So I don't know who I'm speaking to here, but that may be connecting for someone. Now we do have man holding a heart upright and adjacent possibilities. So I'm picking up on a masculine here who wants to take some kind of a chance with you, or I'm hearing change fate, change destiny, change the timelines. So this is giving me the energy of someone who's been on a particular track or timeline that they've been feeling very unfulfilled on, and they're telling themselves that they want to change their fate. They want to, I'm hearing, slip through the back door and run away with you. I don't know why that's coming up here in that way. We have door to spirit in the reverse position. Can I get a clarifier on this card? I'm hearing spirit hasn't been allowing them to access you fully because you've been divinely protected here. I'm hearing your path is protected and you are on this sacred path. Again, that's highly protected, that I feel this masculine chose to disconnect from in some way in the past, but they're really seeking re-entry into your life and onto this sacred path to forge some kind of new contract or new agreement here with you, is what I'm hearing. Like, I feel there was some sort of agreement between the two of you in the past, but now it has to be renewed or it has to be redefined because they made some choice or decision that disconnected them from the sacred timeline, is what my guides are saying, where the two of you were connecting in a more effortless, kind of fated sort of way. It's almost like destiny was altered, the timeline was altered, and therefore the future trajectory was altered when this person used their free will to make certain choices or decisions to disconnect them from this sacred timeline with you. And I'm hearing that the balancing you were meant to do with this person, you had to do alone. Wow, this is such a message, but let's see if we can unpack it here. Basically, with Magician and the Mirror, this is, to me, a card about balancing your internal divine masculine and divine feminine. And I feel I'm speaking to a divine feminine here who, it's like you were connecting with the masculine in the past, who there was a sacred timeline the two of you were conjoined on, and a contract that you had where you were supposed to be in each other's lives and help each other to balance out your internal masculine and internal feminine through each other's physical presence and through some kind of union. And you felt a very strong pull towards that union and tried to move forward towards it. But I feel this masculine disconnected themselves from that sacred timeline because I'm hearing they were afraid. They were afraid to embrace their destiny. They shied away from the calling. I'm hearing the calling to embrace this destiny. And I'm hearing fear caused them to act out. I don't know exactly what that's going to be for you. I'm getting the names Mark and Michael for different people, but I want to know a bit more on how this masculine disconnected from this sacred timeline. What were they so afraid of? Afraid of you losing everything, I'm hearing. Being trapped in something with the Ten of Pentacles in the reverse position. But I was also getting afraid of everything they ever wanted. So it's almost like you were everything they ever wanted, but they had this fear of getting trapped in something, even if it was everything that they ever wanted. Interesting. Yeah, with the Hanged Man, that represents feeling trapped, feeling confined, feeling limited. It's almost like this pathway could have been a lot easier between you, but they wouldn't allow it to be easy because I'm hearing they didn't realize what they had until they lost it and then were seeking it again, which is where they've been in this place of unfulfillment, looking for what they've had with you that they were afraid of getting trapped in, and therefore they shied away from it, or they didn't fully embrace their destiny here. I'm getting a very lukewarm, kind of half-hearted energy from this person. I feel like even though every ounce of their soul was telling them to move forward with you on this sacred timeline. That's what their higher self and their guides were trying to get them to do. They really used their force of will, their free will, to completely disengage somehow from you or from this. So you were left still feeling the pull really strongly to this timeline that had lost all of its momentum, I'm hearing, because this masculine used his free will to disengage from that timeline. And so you were left in this kind of void or this gap, this period of time where you weren't sure what to do because this kind of sacred contract had been broken. There was this plan here between your souls that didn't materialize because of how this masculine used their free will to take a different path. And as a result of this, the balancing that was meant to happen between the two of you, between the masculine and the feminine physically, had to happen some other way, like through alternate routes. And it actually has been happening, is what I'm getting. As this masculine has gone off on this kind of other timeline where I'm hearing they've been met with a lot of hardship, but ultimately that hardship has actually broken their heart chakra open in a way that is connecting them more consciously with their spiritual guidance that they were resisting in the past. And this is why they're now knocking on your door, metaphorically, wanting re-entry back into your life, back into your timeline. But in the meantime, you've actually been balancing yourself through an alternate route, a route that wasn't the plan, I'm hearing initially. I get the sense like your guides and your spirit team had to scramble to kind of come up with a new plan, a new way for you to be activated fully into your power and potential through this balancing out of your internal masculine and internal feminine in the absence of this physical divine masculine that was meant to be connecting with you in a very real-time union state. So the kind of makeshift new plan, I feel, involved you doing this work internally mostly, but with a lot of, I'm hearing external, almost like side quest support. This is so strange. This message is so deep. I don't know who I'm speaking to here. And I know I keep saying that, but this is one of these stranger messages I've channeled more recently. But essentially, you had to go from physically working with this physical external masculine in your day-to-day life to balance your energy. You had to go from that to really going deep into a hermit mode and doing this pretty much on your own, androgynously, like internally. But during that time, I'm getting that you also were given the resources, the people, the connections, the situations to support you along that journey. So for some of you listening, for example, you may have encountered a lot of different external masculines that were not meant to be in your life permanently, but who played a role in actually providing you these alternate routes to shift your energy, to balance your internal masculine in the absence of your sacred, fully embodied physical divine masculine that was meant to be there 100% of the time, if that makes sense. So you may have had this experience of having different masculines weave in and out of your life that may have been very confusing because often they've carried many sacred aspects, many divine aspects, even uncanny similarities to that divine masculine energy that you were so deeply connected to. And at times, this may have been very confusing because you would meet a particular masculine and think that this person may be your true divine masculine or the person that you're meant to be in a full-blown union with. But then sometimes you'd find that person kind of falling just short of that, or not fully rising to that level. And you had this intuitive sense that they weren't quite fully meeting that standard of the person that you could fully lock into this union forever with. And yet they play this powerful role in your own growth and evolution, kind of like a support team. Now, these don't have to be romantic situations. If you aren't out in the dating world, I could be talking about masculine energies you're encountering platonically in the workplace, in your day-to-day life, even within yourself. But I'm just getting the sense of you having to go down or having been down this alternate route, so to speak, of balancing your internal masculine and internal feminine energy, that has involved you being sent support in very unique ways. Like I said, this is one of the strangest messages I've channeled recently. I don't know who I'm speaking to specifically, but if this is for you, I'd love to hear from you in the comments. Also, I will be continuing this reading onto Patreon. So first of all, I'm very curious to know about this original divine masculine wanting to re-enter your life and how this potentially might move forward depending on what pathway you choose. I also want to know a bit more about these other current supporters or energies or people in your life that seem to be playing this powerful spiritual role in supporting you along your journey into becoming your most empowered self. So we'll be looking into that, and also any other details or pieces of information that want to come through that extended reading. So if you do want to join our soul tribe on Patreon to get access to all of the Monday, Wednesday, and Friday extended reading videos, the link to join is in the pinned comment and description box underneath this video. Otherwise, I'm going to go ahead and close the reading here, but I am going to be channeling one final Rumi message. So let's go ahead and channel a Rumi message here. Okay, this is a bit of a longer quote. Your task is not to seek for love, but merely to seek and find all the barriers within yourself that you have built against it. Love is not an emotion made to fit the narrow confines of a single heart. It is the essence of existence itself, flowing endlessly. When you let go of fear and open the door to love, you will see that love was always there, waiting patiently to embrace you. It does not divide or possess. It multiplies, expands, and unites. Love is the bridge between you and everything. So I'm going to go ahead and close the reading here. I hope you have a wonderful remainder of your day, and I will connect with you here again in the next reading.